Naga's her timings are terrible against Leshrac, and the rest of the game she suffers.
You need some sort of save against Batrider.
Definitely,
Probably.
definitely,
So you need
definitely.
like a Shadow Demon or a Abaddon or a
Omni Knight,
Legion
Legion.
Commander. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
anyone who can like purge off that.
Right.
Uh,
That's good. No, 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 that's really, really good. So that actually, Nigma is thinking very, very in line with you. I believe they end up picking the Omni Knight later on, which is like,
yeah.
but that's the thing about this opening. It's like it becomes a necessity, right? Even if you might not want to pick an Omni Knight in your draft, it's like, oh, well, now we need that save. Otherwise, they're just gonna run us over, no matter where this Batrider is. It's just such a cool pick. Everything else, as far as like bans and picks for these first phases go, I think in this game it's like strictly meta. Io and Lifestealer seem like an incredibly frustrating combo to go against. I think that's a very, very common one that we've been seeing a lot of. Snapfire is just a completely busted hero. Like, there's no other thing to say about it. Snapfire is just the most busted hero in Dota right now.
Practice that hero too. Oh god, so many heroes to learn.
Nyx Assassin is just such a hardcore counter to so many heroes and very, very high on the tier list as well. Puck, again, like it doesn't matter if it's you guys drafting or like professionals, Puck is one of the most infuriating heroes to play against. It's just a very good pick. And Slaughter, too. Like, Slaughter we've been seeing come into the meta, and it's like, it almost seems like no matter what he's against, he can always get away with a good lane. Maybe not the best lane, but a very, very good lane. And that's important when you're picking an offlaner. What are some other similar heroes to these Slardars or these Pucks or things like that we might be seeing? Like, let's think offlane right now. What can you be picking offlane? Since it's pretty... I'd hope that none of these four heroes are really going offlane. What would you be looking at right now?
Sorry, I'm opening Dota right now to look at all the heroes in the game.
That's probably a good idea as well. Let me get a visual up.
Well, okay, so while we're thinking about that, I just want to also point out that this Enchantress Tiny kind of accomplishes the same thing as the Batrider Leshrac, right? Because you have no idea where the Enchantress is going to go. It's a little bit more strict, although she's been seeing some play in 2 for some reason. But she can go 4, 5, 3, 2, and Tiny as well is just an extremely flexible hero that can play just about anything, honestly. But he's definitely more geared towards 4th position if you look at most of these major games. But, I mean, so it might not be quite as flexible as Secret's draft. This first 2 picks accomplishes exactly the same thing, in my opinion. And it's just something interesting to keep in mind for your future drafting. This is kind of the goal that you want to go for. An ambiguous first couple of picks that really are difficult to draft into.
Yeah, I mean, Nyx is... I think we already brought up Nyx. Nyx seems pretty good because you can use the Carapace to set up on Batrider and Leshrac.
Yep. Yeah, as far as offlaners go, I think they're going to get picked up pretty soon. It's generally the way things go. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. That's what I wanted to say. So, Centaur Warrunner. Honestly, I think this hero is one of the strongest heroes in Dota right now as well, in the offlane. He's very similar to Slardar in my opinion. He's just one of those heroes that almost always gets a very good lane, and if for some reason he doesn't get a good lane, he can make a good lane happen. Whether it's creep pulls, or jungling, or rotating to another lane, doesn't matter. But his skills are just extremely high impact. He's very, very good against most of the heroes in the game right now, with that global haste rune that he gives everyone. Good initiator, good de-initiation, just an all-around tanky hero with tons of AoE. I mean, it should be... Centaur should definitely be like top of your list as far as offlane drafts go, along with Slardar or Legion or whoever else that it may be. But then, like we were talking about, I think Nigma's going to be moving into the Omni Knight pick later on. Now, why don't they pick the Omni Knight right here where they picked Slark? Why do they pick Slark first instead of Omni Knight? Because a lot of times in the pubs you'll see, well, we want to pick the carry later, right? Because, you know, carry, mid, they're probably the most important to save for the last couple of picks. In your pubs, you see offlane and supports getting picked up much, much earlier. So why wasn't it the case in this particular instance?
Because you just know who the 3 is. Like, it's going to be Centaur.
Right.
Slark fares pretty well against Centaur.
Exactly.
I mean, better
Perfect.
than most heroes, right?
Yep, exactly it. I mean, you see this game, like, the lane goes terribly for Centaur. And the other thing I wanted to mention about this game, I'm always bitching at you guys to, like, rotate when you have a bad lane, rotate when you have a bad lane, rotate when you have a bad lane, get a good lane. But this is a really good example of when you have a bad lane, you shouldn't rotate. And I thought it was just a really interesting situation. It shows the complexity of Dota, honestly, to me. And how nothing is ever set in stone. Everything, you should constantly be thinking about things. The situations that you're in, no matter what. So here we see the Wyvern get picked up. So now after this Wyvern pick, after the second to last pick, now we're kind of solidifying the draft a little bit, right? Now that we've got the Slark and the Tiny and the Enchantress, well, now Secret's pretty comfortable putting Leshrac in a core role. Because you see the Slark, you see Enchantress, and you're thinking, okay, well, you know, Leshrac really needs to be a little bit tankier, have a few more items, have a lot more impact to really fare well against these picks. So we're going to lock him in as a core. Whether it's a 1 or a 2, we don't really know yet, and we don't have to know. But picking this Wyvern, it's looking like either a 4 or 5 Wyvern or a 4 or 5 Bat. And then either 1 or 2 Lesh, and then 3 Centaurs. So there's a lot of flexibility still. But as these first 3 pickups from Nigma come out, now Secret thinks, okay, it's much better for Leshrac to be a core after they see these 3 heroes, right? So then the Omni Knight comes out, and I think, honestly, just solidifies the fact that Leshrac will and has to be core. Because you see these heroes on bottom, and what do they all have? They have a ton of sustain. Enchantress has sustain, Slark has sustain, Omni has sustain. Tiny is just a very tanky hero in general that likes to kind of create favorable teamfight situations, you know, look for constant tossbacks and things like that. In this particular situation, Leshrac has to frontline with Centaur. Has to be there getting off his spells, so that means he has to be a core. But again, all this up in the air is so... It's only possible because of how flexible a draft Secret was making this. But yeah, as you see these heroes, that's when you should really be making your decisions on what position all of your draft is going. It should never be locked in from the get-go, otherwise you just get straight up countered. So as far as bans go, we see like Alina, which is just strong mid against Lesh, honestly. So now I'm thinking that Lesh is going to be going mid. Enigma disagree with me apparently because they end up banning out the Meepo just in case. I know Nisha plays it a lot, and maybe it's like a carry Meepo, I'm not really sure. But I don't even particularly think that Meepo's good this game. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's good. And then they just pick up the Pugna. So maybe they're just more worried about not getting last picked, right? Because it's like Lesh can still go position 1 if he needs to. And so it's like you pick something that gives Meepo a really good lane. Pugna is kind of like a 50-50. But I'd still be scared to be, kind of play against a Meepo, I guess, if I were them. So they're just taking it out of the pool completely. So that they don't have to worry about it in their minds. And then the Morphling comes out. Now, does anyone want to tell me why Morphling is a really, really good pick here?
It's in the Omni Knight, so you can repel yourself, right?
That, absolutely. You get Repel, you get Purification. You've got the attack speed slow and the move speed slow as a passive, although that's kind of not as important. But yes, Purification is definitely very nice. What else?
It means that Pugna can't just decrep himself to save himself from Morphling, right?
Oh, that's very true too.
You're just gonna pop him.
Because with the Omni Knight, what he gives his entire team right now, especially against a team that doesn't have any dispels, like this particular one, is complete invulnerability to physical damage, right? And so what's the answer to it from Secret? Well, we're just not going to draft real physical damage. We're going to draft all heroes that can play around that, essentially. And And so I think the Morphling was also a really good pick, again, just because the Decrep. It really punishes anyone that gets Decrepified because they take a ton of damage, nuke damage from the Morph. But not only that, the Tiny is also really, really strong for Morphling to morph into. Because you get a full toss combo by just picking up that hero. So you can waveform forward, toss combo someone, get a ton of damage off, and then come right back, and you still have your full E-Blade combo ready to go. I mean, it's just a ridiculous amount of damage. So not necessarily an Ags game, I would think. There's not really anyone on his team that Morphling wants to morph into, but it's just such a good game for him because of these enemy heroes, basically, that he can morph into. So now let's get into the game a little bit more. Alright, so 0 minutes in, right? We're going to see some pretty early rotations and some really, really interesting skill builds, and item builds for that matter. But particularly the Enchantress. I really like the item build on her, first and foremost. I think this is a really strong build for most supports to be going the Headdress. Because not only does it give you more sustain in lane, and just the 3 stats is nice, but what it also does is helps you, your carry and anyone else that comes to your lane to also have the same amount of sustain, right? That extra 2 HP turns into 6 with just a purchase of a few hundred gold. You're basically getting like a ring of health almost on your entire tri-lane up here. So that was really cool. The early Orb of Venom from Miracle was also really heads up. He just had this understanding that, look, I'm going to be going aggressive this lane. I'm going to be trying to get kills. There's nobody really on the enemy team that has any kind of escape mechanic besides the Batrider with Firefly. So what does he do? He gets Orb of Venom, which is probably the most aggressive pickup that he possibly can. Then Tiny as well just goes the boots of speed. He understands that his job is to get his tossbacks and this aggressive rotation. And Enchantress, getting Enchant level 1. What does this accomplish? What do you see here that is really, really bad for Radiant? Can anyone tell me?
Centaur didn't take his passive at level 1.
The Retaliate. It's not a passive anymore, but yes.
Yeah.
Completely right. Now, because he went Hoofstomp, yes, he doesn't give up a kill, but now his lane is going to suffer really, really hard because he can't trade hits with the Slark anymore, right? He just takes a couple of hits now, and he's not doing any return damage to him, and he doesn't have that extra damage to kind of turn on people with. So, in this particular situation, I mean, yeah, it's good he didn't give up a kill, but it's really, really bad in the sense that he's not going to be able to lane now. And so you need to think about that in your games. And, like, this was a silly death, honestly, from Puppy. I have no idea why he kept going aggressive and, like, thought that he wouldn't die, but... You know, I mean, maybe he just didn't expect the kind of early Orb of Venom. It does make a difference.
So, are there situations where you actually just die there on Centaur? Like, would that actually have given him... The way I understand it, this lane went terribly.
Oh, yeah, no, this lane was awful. Yeah, I mean, but look at the tossbacks from the Tiny, just the synergy with his entire team. Like, I mean, yeah, Centaur isn't dying, but it's like he doesn't have a lane. It's... I mean... I honestly, I would rather have just gone Retaliate and take the death the way that he makes this whole situation look. But, so something really cool, though, that I saw the supports on Radiant doing, look at where they're going. Bat's getting out of the way of this range creep, right? He's trying to give Centaur as much experience as possible, and I think they both do the exact same thing later on. They're going to be trying to get out of the way of the Centaur just to give him enough experience to get his level 2. You see this movement over here? This is all just trying to get the Centaur to level 2, just so that he doesn't have as trash of a lane as they know he's going to. But yeah, that's pretty much one of the things that I really want to talk about. What else? Oh, item builds. So, early on, what is the first thing that everyone is going to be getting? Especially in a tri-lane. Every single person. Doesn't matter what lane you're up against, but extra important against the Batrider, right?
Stick.
Stick. And Urgent, in particular, I think is really, really good about understanding when you need to rush a stick, and he kind of reminds Lincoln a lot of the time, too. But yeah, it's just so important in these situations, because, look, the Tiny's playing on super low HP, so is the Slark, but it doesn't matter, because they all have stick charges, and so they can bait out with these. Now, this is a little bit funny from him. He ends up killing his
I
carry.
definitely watched this game.
Oh, man.
I remember that. They were like,
So now let me explain why this isn't completely terrible. This toss back, and at first you'll think it's a gigantic mistake, but it's actually kind of interesting, because look right now, look at how much regen Slark has. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yes, he pops the Tango. Maybe he shouldn't have if they were actually communicating this together a little bit better. But he can't do anything in this lane, and his courier is all the way back here. Like, he's not going to get any regen for a very, very long time. And Radiant's full HP, and they've got a Bat Rider coming back ASAP. Like, he's not going to be able to lane. And so the alternative is just tanking a death and coming back full HP. Now, the better alternative is getting a toss back under tower and trading a kill for it on a full HP support. So while this might look a little bit goofy, like Tiny just completely griefed his carry, there is some thought behind it. There is a benefit to it. Even though you give up that kill on Miracle, you get a trade on a full HP support who should have been able to harass out everyone else more. You get experience, and your carry gets to come back, and he's full HP and full mana now. So, just little things. But I want to keep going, because this particular lane is just really, really interesting to me. Just constant aggression, constant fighting from everyone. But at no point, for like 8 minutes almost, does Radiant move out of this lane, even though it goes terribly for them. Does anyone want to... And this is part of the reason why I don't have a whole lot of commentary on mid and bottom. Does anyone want to tell me why you wouldn't want to rotate out of this particular lane?
Well, for at least the Dire,
because the other two lanes are going fine.
Exactly. So the rotations that they do make are only when the supports are missing from top lane and coming down here trying to get kills on the Leshrac. They're just responding right now, basically, is what they're doing. Centaur just got a kill on Slark. Tiny showed mid lane, and so the supports come down to support their mid laner. They don't want Pugna having a really, really good lane against Leshrac. Otherwise, things can kind of get out of hand really quickly. But they're not. This isn't aggressive movement, right? They're not trying to be aggressive on the enemy team. They're just making very defensive rotations to try and secure the mid lane first and foremost. But then bottom lane is going fine, right? Morphling's going to trade CS with Omni Knight. Like, I mean, it's a totally free lane for both these heroes, honestly. Maybe it's a little difficult for Omni, because it's like, Omni doesn't have any range disable or CC or nuke or anything like that besides purification. And so, as long as Morphling keeps his HP above the current level of damage from purification, he's going to have a free time in this lane, because he can always morph all the way back down, then morph all the way back up. There's absolutely no reason to come down here when Omni Knight is as impossible to gank as he is. Bat Rider does nothing to the Dispel. Wyvern is very, very... the slows just don't do anything to this hero. So the supports are never going to come bottom. Mid lane, they only go because of the rotations from the Tiny. They need to make something happen, basically. And even when they do go, it's like a little bit of an overextension, and Tiny just takes total advantage of it. But anyways, after that, they see, oh, wait a minute, our offlaner just died again. Well, time to make a rotation, right? And GH is such a god. He remembered the timings perfectly. Was there for the 5-minute rune. Yes, he dies, but he still secures a bounty, and now he gets to be full HP, full mana, and walk right back into a lane and have some impact. I think this is completely fine as a position 4, if that's what you want to do. Like, you're 0 HP, you're 0 mana, but you still get a bounty rune, something, basically, out of it. And then, now you're just going right back into having impact. There's no downtime for these guys, is what I'm trying to show to you. None of these players have any point in time where they're just thinking like, oh, I don't know what to do, or I don't know where to go, maybe I'll hit the jungle creeps. No. There's always an objective in mind, there's always a rotation, and then as soon as they can't do anything more, it's dying or ferrying out regen and coming right back full HP, full mana to do more things. It's just very, very cool gameplay to watch, honestly. But yeah, so bottom lane is going fine, mid lane is going fine, and top lane, you just have to sit here and have a presence in this top lane. Trade kills over and over if you have to. But it's just such a cool situation because you don't get put in this situation very much, right? You never want to, at least, be in the position where the supports feel like they can't kill any other lane than top. But it's really cool. Nobody ever yields this lane. Nobody ever thinks like, oh, well, alright, it's time to jungle, or it's time to stack, or it's time to do something else. They have constant impact in this lane. Really, it was just super interesting to me to watch. So, and this happens up until about 8 minutes into the game. Everyone just kind of plays Ring Around the Rosie up top and is content to let mid and bottom farm. And then after this happens, somebody... Was the haste rune denied? I can't really tell. Yeah, it was. So haste rune got denied, and then they're just kind of playing around this. So this is the first rotation right here. 9 minutes into the game from the supports. This is the first rotation that they make on mid lane. And can anyone tell me why? Can anyone tell me why 9 minutes is when they start going? It's very important.
I mean, there's just a ton of timings, outposts, runes, and if you can get control earlier on.
Absolutely. I mean, as soon as 9 minute rolls around, that's when you guys need to be planning your first, at least the first big gank or big rotation. Is this 9 minute period where if it goes well, you secure an outpost and a bunch of runes. If it goes poorly, you still have a little bit of time to defensively come back and secure your own at least, right? So what happens? Slark TP's in, nothing ends up happening. Nobody actually ends up dying right now. But there's a lot of pressure put on this Tiny. There's a lot of pressure put on the Slark. It forced rotations down here, so Centaur has a free lane. Morphling's still doing his thing. It's kind of business as usual, so this wasn't really an optimal gank, but it was necessary to force those rotations so that you can actually secure bounties or secure anything else. Outpost, for example. Yeah, so 951. Where are all the supports? They're playing around their outpost since they didn't feel comfortable going for this one after that failed gank. What happens because of it? They're able to secure that one, and Centaur is able to get this one up top. Super, super nice rotation. Honestly. Centaur even uses Stampede just to get there on time. But everyone remembered this 10-minute timing. Everyone rotated down here. The support secured theirs, even though the Omni turned it. And then Centaur aggressively used his ultimate to go and secure this one. Very, very nice. It's going to, even though like the lanes have been even, so everyone's still pretty similar in levels, if, for example, the lanes went really, really badly for the Radiant, and they just lost both these outposts, well, now all of a sudden, you guys remember this, right? Their supports are stuck as level 4 10 minutes into the game, and they don't get any outpost experience. That's huge. Like, if they don't get level 5s from this, or something, like, close to level 5s at least, they're just going to be so far behind for the rest of the game. And even here, you can see they still give up kills and stuff because of how under-leveled they are. But now at least somebody can go and buy the tome. I think it's going to be Wyvern. Yeah, he does. And Wyvern instantly gets 6 only because they had outposts, right? That's how important it is to get them. Even if you don't get a ton from it, Wyvern now has 6 only because of those. She was able to buy the tome. Like, just barely got it. And that's huge. Remember, like, if she didn't have the outpost, she'd still be level 5 right now. Remember how you guys felt in that one game where it's like everyone was super underleveled. You tried to take a team fight and then got rolled over because nobody had their ultimate. Well, now look at what happens because the Wyvern is able to get her ultimate at this time. It's a little bit sketchy, granted, but they're still going to get this kill on a mid laner, and that only happens because of the levels. Just really, really cool to me, honestly. But yeah, it just shows you exactly what happens if you can secure these at a proper time and what the impact is. Because if that didn't happen, this kill doesn't happen. If they didn't secure these outposts, that kill doesn't happen, and who knows what Pugna's game is looking like. But now it slows him down. It slows down the tower push onto here. It allows Leshrac to come get some damage with the Edict. Like, it's so huge, and I can't express that enough to you guys. Just correct rotations are amazing for both teams. And so Dire definitely misplayed a little bit there by not properly emphasizing it. Alright, anyways, yeah, we can skip forward about to 14 minutes, I think, was the next one. So, 14 minutes from Dire, actually, is what I wanted to focus on. It's the first smoke. And at that time exactly, you will see why they smoke. Because despite the deaths, the silly deaths and all, Slark actually has a really good time. He's got 5 permanent agility and a very early timing on his first item, the diffusal blade. And so everyone else is now at this understanding because these guys are communicating this. Well, Slark's got a diffusal blade coming. It's 14 minutes, which is super early, right? And 14 minutes is right around the time when you want to start doing things, securing bounty runes and all that. So what are they going to do? They're going to smoke. Slark even buys the smoke. I don't know why, but he buys it for the Enchantress just so they can get it in time and go for this. So 14 minutes, 45 seconds, they're smoked and going straight for this bounty rune because they know this is where Radiant has to play around. Right here, nets him a kill. Tiny's playing around it, gets the bounty rune. And now they can just keep snowballing this. The Morph has no mana, he can't really do anything. He just has to Ghost Scepter. And Dire's just playing absolutely insanely aggressive because they know that they can force a fight with this Diffusal Blade. Maybe a little bit too far, granted, by the time you start going under tier 3 towers, but it's like they're able to just constantly get these pickoffs, even if it's only on the squishier heroes, and apply pressure to the Morphling. This is only possible because he hit that 14-minute timing for first item, and everyone else immediately smoked. It's a really cool play that you guys can do no problem in your games, even if you don't get items around that time, which is quite difficult. But it's just smoking, understanding that you're hitting a timing for the bounty runes, and then taking advantage of the enemy team. If he doesn't have a Diffusal Blade, I don't think he dives past this tier 2 tower, but he still gets a kill on the Centaur, and he has the bounty runes that gets picked up for his entire team. And the smoke is a success, basically. So just remember that in your games. Smoke around those timings, right? Play around those timings. Make sure you try to get your items at around those specific times, just so that you can have extra impact by achieving objectives along with kills. So let's see. I don't think a whole lot else happens after this because, again, like we were saying, around the 15-minute to the 19-minute mark, you really want to be farming for those first, the tier 2 jungle items, and that's exactly what they do. It's really just comes down to pushing out waves and farming jungle. So not a whole lot happens. Everyone tries to take as many pickoffs as they can, like when they come up, but for the most part, nobody's going to be looking to team fight around this time. Yeah, that's just Pugna playing way too aggressively. Like, this game was really weird because there was so much greed from the Dire team, to me, like personally, and I look at it and I think it's just very very unnecessary and very kind of unskillful in my opinion. Like, there's no reason for the Pugna to be out here doing all this stuff with no vision. And then just getting picked off for free. There's no reason for Slark to be doing the crazy things that he does later on in the game. But it's like, I mean, you'll see exactly why they get punished for it. Alright, anyways, let's skip ahead. Right around here, I believe. No, it's 20 minutes. Okay, so another couple of small pickoffs. Really no team fights, though. No one's, like, getting off, like, these 5v5 engagements. But look at this. Like, look at Dire's vision right now. How aggressive these wards are and where they're going to be playing around, right? They want to secure these outposts as best they can. Top is pretty free right now just because Tier 1 tower is still up in both lanes. They can teleport to it if need be. It's really, really difficult for Radiant to get all the way out there, missing their Tier 1 towers. So what do? They plop down these observer wards that are really, really hard to find, right? You wouldn't really be thinking, this is out of range of this right here, so you won't really be thinking it's on this corner. It accomplishes what it needs to, though, and this is an extremely deep ward for 19 minutes. But, I mean, this is aggressive play. This is what they want to be doing right now. They want to be pressuring with their Pugna pick and the Slark that has the super early Diffusal Echo. Like, this is what you need. This is the kind of vision that you want to put down. Completely out of the way, very, very hard to de-ward stuff that, you know, still gets the job done. So it's creative warding. This one, not so much, obviously. I think it's just really helpful to have this. It gives a little bit more control over this bottom outpost. But you can see, like, okay, we've got this completely cleared. We see them moving in for it now. Where's the other place that we can play on the map? And the answer is top lane, because they want to make sure that they secure this outpost. Radiant, on the other hand, makes a rotation for the bottom lane, because they definitely want to secure this at all costs for the 20-minute mark. So, I thought it was really cool. Both teams are all keeping in mind the timings for objectives and where they need to be. It's really, really nice to see, honestly. It's very, very cool when people get there right at that 9 minutes and 54 seconds, and they're just barely able to get the outpost for their team. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, though, it, like, even when you look at the net worth and the experience and all that, it doesn't seem like Radiant are too far behind. It's really just the towers, honestly, that are making this big difference here. Because when you're missing all 3 Tier 1 towers and they've still got all theirs up, the map control that Dire's able to exert is so much, even though they're not that much further ahead, it feels like they are. And that's kind of the power of it. You're able to choke them out, essentially, from the rest of their map by playing this aggressively early on. It's really, really cool to watch, honestly. Now, this guy is just going full freaking Insano mode, but particularly here, and why he doesn't die, is he has his team to back him up, right? Later on, and that's why he's able to make that play, even though it isn't necessarily optimal. Later on, we're going to see kind of an example of why you don't do that. Now, in this particular situation, though, why do you think Leshrac went Boots of Travel Yule Scepter in this particular situation? Can anyone tell me?
Is it just because they want to, like, I don't know. It seems like Secret is dodging fights and dying strategically, like this whole time. Lesh is just like pushing out waves.
Yeah, to some extent.
And
Yeah, well, I would say
other
that
places on the map.
I would say that Dire's like stronger than the Radiant at this point in terms of, like, their 5-man. So I think Lesh just kind of wants to push all the lanes out so that they can never come in and push.
Perfect. That's it. You're exactly on it. What happens when people are 5-manning down your towers? What do you need to do? Push out the other lanes. Apply pressure to other parts of the map and force them back. What it does is delay the game. This is the first kind of movement, honestly, that Secret make to clot this bleeding, this constant losing the tier 2s and all their towers, and fix them 5-manning, essentially. Because what this Leshrac does, I think he even dies here, but what he's doing right now is creating a ton of space for the rest of his team, right? Pugna can't just walk up onto the tier 3 and start nether blasting it down, and it's giving time for Morphling to get all of his items. It's super important. Like, he understands that his role right now is not to team fight this early on, because they can't. There's no item that he can go that costs 2,000 gold and will allow him to stay in the middle of all these heroes. So his solution to it is just, alright, buy bots, split push, and try your best to make space for the rest of your team until we can get to more favorable timings. You know,
Yeah,
that's just... Oh, go ahead.
I guess what I meant was, like, Secret, literally, they're not taking a single fight. Like, even if a
Right.
core gets caught out, they're like, he's dead. You know? And then just let the other cores kind of farm up so that, like, there's never, like, even though, like, Dire's 5-manning the entire time, and I guess, other than high ground pushes, they're not, like, 5-manning basically at all. They're splitting the farm up so, like, 5 Dire heroes have to go and kill 1 core.
Does
Right.
Slark have Aegis here?
And then it's like,
No.
well, the Morphling is up in the top lane farming, or there's 2 other cores on the map farming somewhere. They're
Right.
just pushing out the lanes and trying to delay.
Exactly. And that's what you have to do when you're this far behind, when you have no map control whatsoever. It's like, even though Morphling's had a decent game, it's like that courier kill really, really hurt him because now he doesn't have his E-Blade at 19 minutes like he would have had, and now it's going to be coming out more at like 23 minutes. And so nobody's in real position to 5-man. Although, when they do take team fights, and when they are willing to take these engagements, is around their tier 3 tower, right? Because you get the extra armor, you get the extra damage, you get a vision advantage. It's basically the most you could hope for.
So,
Right.
Also, like, yeah, the Lesh dies, but look at the net worth. Lesh is 3rd on the net worth. Like, yeah, he's dying, but he's getting a lot of gold pushing out all those lanes. And
All
even
these
dying
creeps,
is not losing. Like, that's a good death because he gets all this gold and he pushes it out. It's
And
like
he
a
forces the
worth-
rotations and makes space for his team. Absolutely.
Like, if they
100%.
have to bring 4 people down to kill him, that means that there's only one other person left on the map that they can either then counter gang or just use that space to farm.
Totally right. 100%. Split pushing whenever you can. Now, it's not optimal that the Leshrac is dying, but it's completely acceptable since you're actually making space. You're not just feeding. Forcing a mass rotation across the map away from your base, delaying the game even more until your Morphling can get his E-Blade. I mean, little things like that are just so important. It looks like feeding to most people, but in reality, it's delaying the game until you can get a more favorable timing. And so all these engagements, the only engagements that Secret will ever take until they feel more comfortable is behind their tier 3, basically. And, I mean, Slark misplays a lot this game. That was, I think, in my opinion, the first one.
Number
And-
one reason why courier kills are so important.
Oh, absolutely. It delays this E-Blade so much from the Morphling. I mean, but that was just extremely fortunate from the Dire, quite frankly. So yeah, Slark dies. The push is ended now because they really can't take a 4v4 engagement or a 4v3 into high ground. And so now this just creates more and more space. And this is, again, all thanks to the Leshrac pushing in this bottom lane when they were all sitting mid. It's so important to apply pressure at other points in the map if you can't contest a push. So let's see, where's my next notes? 26 minutes. Alright, let's fast forward to 26 minutes. I want to talk about items, because I feel like that's something that we tend to struggle with. Not as much as before, but certainly still. Itemizing correctly, putting the right items on people, neutral items especially, and going for the right items on every single person. So, right about 26 minutes. Alright, what I wanted to mention. Morphling has the Nether Shawl, right?
Sure.
Why? Why is that? Why would the Morphling have it?
E-Blade for the burst, the just gigantic nuke with the damage amp, and also helps him survive against the Plugna.
Why not the Leshrac, though? Why is it more important on Morph instead of Leshrac?
I mean, Lesh is more just sustained damage over time. Morph's very bursty, so the Nether Shawl is a very good like burst item. Whereas, I feel like Lesh, his damage is gonna get off regardless.
Sure. Now, what's
What's the negative effect for
armor?
Oh,
Negative
yeah,
3
also
armor.
Morph has all the
since
armor,
Morphling
Lesh
has
doesn't.
all the
Right.
armor.
Right. And what does Morph really struggle with right now in this particular game? Against the Pugna, against the Tiny, against the Slark to a lesser extent. He's only got 900 HP right now, right? So that 20% magic resistance really makes a big difference, especially against
Yeah.
a Tiny combo. Because now Tiny can't just blow him up. So I think it's very, very important that you recognize situations like this in your games, and in games where it's like, well, I mean, yeah, Nether Shell might be really good on Leshrac or Batrider or whoever, but in this particular instance, it's very important to put it on your Morphling. Granted, he's about to get rid of it for Titan Sliver, but I mean, it's just situational, right?
I think that the bigger thing is that it's the magic resistance because it's only 8% spell amp. Like,
Right.
there are talents that give more,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
and you can also get.
It's just a solid item, honestly. Especially, I don't know what it is they particularly have. I hate this side thing. I can never see the neutral items.
They've got.
Is there a way to get rid of this? Oh yeah,
no.
there it is.
Oh yeah. They've
Um,
got Essence Ring, Shawl, Net, and Vamp Fangs.
yeah, they don't really have anything else that would suit the Morphling, so they put the best. I mean, maybe the PMS, but it's like
I don't know. I'm surprised the Lush isn't carrying the Fangs.
no. So in this particular instance, I think that's fine because the mana regen is super nice on Leshrac. The int is always welcome, and then 425 health is huge on this hero. Early on, when you want to try and survive as much as possible, I think Essence Ring is prime on Leshrac, especially when he's fulfilling this frontlining role. Aether Lens on Wyvern. Why are we seeing an Aether Lens on Wyvern this game?
They've got a Pugna who can zone with his Nether Ward. If Wyvern gets too close, he can get destroyed by the Tiny. Just basically it allows the Wyvern to sit back and cast spells without getting too close and having to worry about getting focused down.
Sure. No, that's fine. And what's the little bit more aggressive benefit to Aether Lens? Something very, very important to stall out the game. Splinter Blast, right? You want to try and nuke out these waves as much as possible from a safe distance when this Pugna is knocking at your T3s. So what's his answer to that? He tries to sit as far back, and he gets an Aether Lens, so he can use Splinter Blast, he can use Curse, he can save people, and everything else from as far back as he possibly can. I think it's just really good itemization. Like, a lot of people... I've seen like some position 4 Wyvern games where they go damage. I've seen some where they go blink. But this is more of a defensive build, even more so than like Glimmer Cape, because he can just position himself further back now. What else? What else did I want to talk about? Let's see. Oh, this is a really cool one. Enchantress is building a pipe, and who else? Omni Knight has one too. They have 2 pipes. Now, why the hell would they have 2 pipes?
Won't the active duration stack?
They don't
but
stack, but you can cycle them. Yeah.
Yeah, you can chain them.
There's no cooldown like mechanism or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But why all this magic resistance?
You've got Lesh, you've got Bat, you've got Morph, you've got Wyvern. They've got a whole bunch
Centaur.
of magic damage.
They've got almost exclusively magic damage. So this is just a really cool example of an entire team itemizing completely to try and counter the enemy. They're building to suit the game. It's not necessarily... You're not going to be building 2 pipes in most of your games, maybe 1. But in this particular instance, it's extremely good. And so they went for it, even on the position 4-inch, or position 5-inch, rather. What else? Oh, Omni Knight. So what's Omni Knight's job this particular game? Can anyone tell me? What do you think your job would be if you're playing Omni Knight in this game? Urgent probably hates me right now because he hates these heroes that are like super stationary and don't make plays.
It's just so stupid.
But
Land is stupid heroes.
there's a reason. I'll tell you that. There's a reason and there's a thought process behind it. All of his spells... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's just to sit back and buff the Slark, right?
Damn right. Perfect. That's
sitting
exactly
and
it.
casting Heavenly Grace and
100%.
heal and all that stuff on the
Yep.
Slark and let the Slark go hit buildings and hit people. And you just,
Exactly. You just
sit
want
there
to build
nonstop.
items to make your core, in this particular instance, as strong as possible, since that's pretty much Omni's role. He wants to use Purification, Heavenly Grace, get Guardian Angel up when he's in trouble. So all of his itemization is to do that. He's going for a Solar Crest to buff up the Slark. He's going for a Pipe to protect his team. He isn't the initiation on this team. That's not his job. That's what they have the Tiny for. He's built a Blink Dagger Force Staff. That's what you have the Pugna for. He's got a Blink Dagger. He's got De-initiation in the Nether Ward. The Slark is going to go for an Ags eventually, I think, even though he's got this build queued up, which I think would have been much better. He goes for an Ags. So he understands what his job is very well. You're not always going to be playing these playmakers or these initiators. Sometimes you just have to buff up your other cores, and that's what's going to win you the game. Doesn't particularly do it in this game because, as we'll see, Miracle just refuses to take his help for some reason.
I think it's because the Omni didn't get another lens.
Yeah, it was. That's it. That's it.
I mean, Omni's cast range isn't that far, and to fill that role, you need to be able to get your shit off, but you can't necessarily get caught out and be focused down. Other lens solves that.
I think that's not necessarily too much of an issue, just because Omni Knight is like the last hero that you want to go on in this situation. Really, if you think about it. Like, they've got extremely squishy heroes for the most part. Slark, not so much. He's kind of building up. But you want to like chain CC Slark. You don't want to just let Slark do his thing in the team fights. Same goes with Tiny. Like, Tiny is not very tanky. It's 1 armor plus whatever he gets from his passive. And so the idea isn't to go on the Omni Knight, and the idea is to kill the rest of his team as quickly as you can, or even through the Guardian Angel, since they have so much magic damage. And so with that in mind, I wouldn't be so scared on the Omni Knight, honestly. As far as positioning aggressively goes, like, all you have to do is be behind your Slark, and then you're fine. So, nah. Aether Lens, not so much. Maybe a Blink Dagger. Like, if he knew that Miracle was going to go as gung-ho as he did. But, I mean, yeah, it's just... It's hard to predict these things.
I feel like the Ags just feels weird, right? Does he go Ags on Slark?
Yes, he does.
Like, the Tiny is the initiation, and it just makes it harder for Omni to buff you.
I mean, it kind of works to some extent, honestly, but I think you just need an
Ags also becomes an extra escape because it's
true.
Increased range, increased lower duration, which means their team, which has like the more like all their stuff, which can, if they get on top of you, becomes hard to escape. Now you have two leap charges to get out, and they're far. They're 1200 range, which is hard for most of them to be able to catch up, especially after taking a fight. Like, if you can get 2 good pounces out on like 7-second cooldown, 2 good pounces out, you're out of the fight.
I mean, it's also very good against the Centaur too, right? Because now you can't just stampede away. You've got like 8 to 12 seconds, depending on how well you chain your CC, of just keeping someone in the same place.
Does the same thing? Don't you have to weigh it against other items? Like,
yeah, true.
Like, can't you pounce into Abyssal and then that kind of like
accomplishes it? Yeah. Yeah, to some extent, yes. I mean, I think there were a lot of valid item choices this game. And honestly...
He looks like he finishes the Scotty. Yeah,
he does.
The Scotty.
Honestly, I think Ags actually got him into way more trouble than it was worth. But let's see. Oh, so 28 minutes. I mean, this is kind of the period in the game where it's like you don't have neutral items to farm, you don't have objectives to play around, so either you go for towers, split push lanes, or make plays happen. Now this is really cool. I like this. As soon as you see the Tiny use both of his CC, what do they do?
TP.
Both heroes instantly just TP. That's it. They knew that the Slark was going on the Bat Rider down here. The Tiny had used all his CC. They're totally free. And they just teleport away. There's nothing they can do. Very, very cool game sense to be thinking about that at all times. Now let's see, down here. So 28 minutes, awesome game sense to TP there. And then this is just like... I mean, this is a pretty
Goes
cool
the
play
other
from
way.
the Centaur. Yeah, moving away, understanding that he's dead, and making as much space for his team as possible. I think it's just really interesting the mindset that these players get into, where it's like, even in a bad situation, they always try to make the best out of it. So Centaur, instead of trying to run away to his team or to his base, which is like instinctive, understands he's dead, moves in the opposite direction to give his team more space, and to a lesser extent, just give those extra couple of seconds where they're not hitting the tier 3s. And it makes a difference. Let's see. So 30 minutes in, it's like... Now this is a really cool play. So normally around 30 minutes, and I want to get your guys' input, because this is the first point, I think, in the game where Nigma dropped the ball completely. They have an Aegis on the Slark that's expiring very, very soon. And at about 30 minutes in, it's like instinct, right? Okay, you want to go for the outpost. Well, we have them both secured, but bounty runes are spawning. Now, in your opinion, do you go for these bounty runes around this time? Or do you guys think it's correct to just keep pushing? I don't know.
What's the? It depends on the timer for the Aegis. Because if
I would
Aegis is
say definitely go for the buntings.
Okay,
Because Tiny stay in the base.
okay. So Urchin's saying go for the
I-
bounties.
I feel like you push, right? Because Morphling is going to outcarry your team eventually. You have the Aegis.
yeah, it depends on the Aegis timing. Because if the Aegis still has like a good like minute and a half, 2 minutes, go for bounties, regroup, get your tiny, and then push.
Let's see when Roche got taken.
No, I think it should be opposite way. If they're
So
still
right here,
on,
26-20. All right, and then we were at 29.
it's 5 minutes, so almost gone.
So 26-20, you've got about
1 minute.
2 minutes.
left. Yeah.
No, because it goes to 31-20. So you've got about 2 minutes on the Aegis.
I would
You've
say
got-
back grab. I would say back grab bounties and then regroup and try and either like push out the other lanes, so it's harder for them to be able to focus one spot down. Because if you push out the other lanes, then they have to worry about one of the towers taking a good amount of damage.
Okay. So, and that
It feels like you don't back to me.
yeah.
I mean,
Honestly,
you
I don't know. I don't
Initiation
actually
on
remember what
Tiny.
they do.
Tiny's in base. You don't have Tiny.
yeah, but
You're gonna be fighting 4v5.
so the way
Yeah,
I
you have
looked at
Aegis,
it,
but you're still fighting 4v5. Tiny's offering a lot of damage and initiation right now.
I
yeah,
don't think
Tiny
we
is
kinda
their
fight to just take
initiation.
down towers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
it
they're
just
gonna-
feels like if you back, then Aegis is expired, and
You have
They're,
2 minutes.
like, you
it goes to 31.
yeah, by the time you're done taking bounty runes,
Yeah, by the time
it's
you
gonna be expired. Like,
back,
and then
get bounties and regroup.
yeah, you don't have enough time
Slark's
for that.
18, Pugna's 17. I mean, that's like you push fast. It's not like it's a slow push. You take that stuff down fast. Slark gets increased move speed with his ult because he's out of vision.
I mean, so there's two ways of looking at it. Honestly, I'm kind of with Zach. I think you push here, but what Nigma do is go back for the bounty. So there has to be some kind of merit into it. Obviously, the professional players are agreeing with you guys. I think it's game losing, honestly, because this is a very slim timing that you have, where Morphling still only has 2 items. He doesn't really feel like an impossible to kill kind of threat. You've got everything you need, really, and it's like the Aegis is really the most important part to me.
Just use the Aegis, right? Like if they're not
Yeah.
leaving the base to get the bounties, how are they going to
Well-
do that with you knocking on their tier 3s? Why
Well,
would
they
you
have
go
a
and
they have
get
a
the
lush they have a
bounty?
lush with bots. They have a lush with bots.
Oh, they do.
But if the Lesh isn't there, then
Yeah,
why?
then
Like
they can't.
You're trading the T3s for a couple bounties. I don't know. It just seems like a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if Aegis still have 1 minute, then definitely should push instead of go bunting.
Yeah. So they back up. They go for all the bounty runes, and so now it's like, okay, you missed your timing. Now they can't regroup, or they don't regroup in time, rather, to kill off this tier 3. And the Aegis is going to be expiring very, very soon.
That's a bad ult.
Aw.
Look how split up they are too.
Yeah.
So I mean, Aegis does get used with 20 seconds left, but it's like, look at the positioning of this team. Like, oh man, and GH just plays like a fucking god this entire time. So many good tossbacks, honestly. Like, GH is an amazing Tiny player. I think if they had won this game, GH would have been MVP for sure.
I think that was an issue too. That the Slark blew his ult early, and he just went on. He just, yeah, like you said, Miracle went all gung ho. He didn't like. If he played with his team there, they could have taken the tower and killed them. But instead, he's off fighting 1v3 and.
Well, and it's like they didn't really get anything for this dev
Yeah.
either, right? They didn't get any kills. They didn't get any tower. Like, they're still coming right back and doing the exact same thing they were, except they just don't have Aegis now. So.
Yeah.
This tower should gone like 2 minutes earlier.
Definitely, absolutely. And the fact that it wasn't just means that they missed their timing, essentially. Even though it goes down, now they don't get anything else because it goes down 2 minutes later than it should have. They could have gotten a range Rex, for example. Or they could have pressured the high ground or taken a team fight now that there isn't a tier 3 up here. They could have done so much more.
I think that they made the right call going for the balance because it was more of the play where they started chasing them bottom. Like all their stuff, they were mid. They were positioned to go for mid, and Miracle's fighting off. Miracle's chasing someone bottom. Like he's playing like by himself. He's not playing like he's with a team.
All right. I don't want to get stuck on this for too long, but it just feels like
Why not, Zach? Well, why is it a bad thing to continue discussing?
I think there's a lot of other stuff to look at. I don't want to be shouting the same arguments. It's just I'm pretty sure that the backing for the bounties, like even though he wasted his Aegis bottom, like you said, there's 20 seconds left on the Aegis. Now sending Slark high ground with Heavenly Grace feels a little bit scary. Right. If you have a minute and a half left, then it feels it feels fine to send him up on the high ground, Heavenly Grace him, and let him beat down the towers. But with 30 or 20 seconds left, I feel like it feels a bit scarier.
All these guys are here. Dire is still 5-manning for the most part. Lesh kind of forced some rotations top, had some game sense to TP out. But Dire's still making things happen. It's 5. But now, look at what he's doing. He's still split pushing in the lanes. He's still applying pressure to the rest of the map. And what this does is it's basically going to stop this middle push right here. All this aggression is going to have to be halted because otherwise you're losing tier 2s, you're losing tier 3s. Like, you can't just let that happen. So even when Lesh TP's out afterwards because he feels like it's too dangerous, what with Dire playing off of the map, yeah. I mean, they've got complete control of the entire map right now. And so as soon as they back out, Leshrac is feeling nervous. And that's when you should back off, honestly. Batrider, on the other hand, a little bit more mobile than Lesh. He's got the Blink, he's got Firefly, and now he's got some good vision on high ground.
He's also a little more expendable.
That too. That's a very good point as well. These
like,
position 4s, position 5s.
I would do. Like, just
right. Delay the game more. Like, he's going to die here, 100%. Like, I mean, he's getting this kill, but
the Slark's not there. They can take a fight.
Exactly. As soon as they see that the Slark is gone, what do? They go for it. They go for a team fight right away, immediately. Yeah, Batrider even buys back just because they know that Slark isn't going to be there. Just really, really cool play. Yeah. Now here. So now, oh boy. All right. Where have we seen this maneuver before? 100 times. Let me show you the Dire's perspective. Where have we seen this maneuver before 100 times over, and it's game losing? Jumping up onto the fucking high ground with no vision into the entire enemy team away from yours completely. It's so infuriating to watch this, even like if it's you guys, because there's no reason this should ever happen ever on anyone, and it's happening at a tier 1 team. Like, Nigma's doing this.
This is a Miracle just feeling cocky. He's feeling like he's the king of the world right now.
Extremely. and they get completely punished for it. This is the first movement right here that is totally game losing. You cannot make this movement into absolutely no vision. Like,
It's
even
almost
as a team,
goal
like,
to-
it's just such a game losing position to put yourself in. It's so ridiculous. And now it's like, you're gonna lose this guy, your entire push is completely delayed by another 2 minutes minimum, and you're just giving up everything to these guys now. Like, this move is gonna give up a tier 1 and a tier 2 because of how fast they push. And that is entirely because Miracle got cocky and just dove onto the high ground with no vision. I've
Let
said
it
this
be a
before
message to our
100
cores.
times. I'll say it again over and over again. Making these jumps onto this high ground doesn't matter how far ahead you are. It's a terrible idea. Always. Always. There's never a good time to jump with absolutely no vision onto their high ground and let their entire team initiate onto you. There is never, ever a good time to do that. No matter the team comp, no matter the situation.
Dab, what if you're bait though?
Yeah, right. Miracle, the bait on the Slark. It's just...
Yeah, right. But instead of going in, he jumps back out. Isn't that baiting if they follow? Didn't he do a job?
Nah. I still think it's so stupid, honestly, just because it's like, unless you have Dark Pack primed, jump up there and then jump back, like, you just can't make that play. It's just insane. I don't understand why people still go onto the high ground, like, into absolutely no vision.
What's Puppy doing with that?
I don't know. Puppy was playing like a psychopath, just his face created.
Wait,
Whatever. Leshrac gets to farm bottom now.
He throws GH closer to him for the toss.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Slark's got a gem.
just right here, like, one overextended death means 2 towers going down, and all of a sudden the entire map opens up for them, right? I mean, it's so silly, but it's like, you just gotta recognize that that's your opportunity and take it. I mean, it's so cool to watch Secret playing around that stupid misplay of his. Like,
Adam, Brandon, Urgent. This happens.
never,
This happens
ever,
from this point on.
never, ever, ever go into high ground without any vision. Like, ever. Even as a team. It's just so silly. Alright, so around 38 minutes, I wanted to talk about the items again. Let's do a little discussion about why they might have gone these items and why not.
Mark
Let's see. What was the first one I want to talk about? Oh, Wyvern. Wyvern had some really cool items. Look at this shit. Travel's Glimmer on Wyvern. Why would you go for
Gotta
that?
go fast. Gotta go fast.
Nah, it's not necessarily just for move speed. But why would you go for this build?
I mean, it allows you to play with like your Lesh and your Bat. It allows you to play very offensively with Wyvern and go with the rest of the team now, because it's sort of like a momentum swing. Because of those 2 fights and like they're in 1 fight or whatever. No, 2, because I'll say the gank.
This one over here. Yeah, I know.
That one, and then the one they had on bottom where they picked off the Pugna and
Right,
Tiny,
right around here, I think. Yeah.
Pugna and Eng. The momentum is swung. It's no longer very Nigma-sided. It's now very balanced. Yeah, they have the 6k net worth lead, but you look at the net worth. Who are the top 2 for, like, Lush is beating the Slark now, and Morph's coming right up.
Oh yeah, Morph's way ahead
no
of
longer,
Weehaw.
It's no longer Enigma lead. It is now like secret heavy leaning.
Yeah, all the money is basically just missing from the supports on Radiant side, which is totally fine.
Well, the Centaur too, but
yeah.
But like mid and safe lane for secret is just
popping off.
So far
They're
ahead.
doing great.
It's like,
so
Wyvern needs to play aggressive. Travis allows you to play aggressively with your Lesh and your Bat Rider when they're doing stuff like the top.
And
you can potentially get kills.
Remember the previous item, Aether Lens. So her job is to push out these lanes, nuke them out as fast as and as efficiently as possible and as safely as possible. And then now it's evolving. Now, because of these items, well, now you can push out the lanes, make sure that your base is safe, and go play with your team. and your team doesn't want to play in the base because you never want to play in your base against like a Pugna or like someone who builds meteor hammers. Because if you do, what happens? They just get free damage onto your tier 3s and onto your racks. So what's the solution? Play out way outside of your base, away from your base. Force these rotations to happen way far away. And then now Pugna isn't in a position to put damage onto your base. So it's just very, very situational and very good thinking from Secret. I mean, this is why they're a tier 1 team. They can make these calls spur of the moment. So Lesh just keeps doing his thing, pushing out lanes. Wyvern, look at what Wyvern's doing. He knows his job, and that's to keep these lanes pushed out, and he's doing it just fine. And then as soon as he accomplishes that, sees the rest of his team get a pick off, he's going and playing with his team. So very cool itemization from the Wyvern. Who else? Let's see Leshrac. Why is Leshrac going Bloodstone Shivas? Because it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of right click on the enemy team besides the Slark, right?
I mean, I feel like Lesh's only problem is the Slark. Like he doesn't care about he's fast enough that he can if he gets he only really dies if they lock him down with Tiny or Slark. So Shiva's slows the Slark. It can break Tiny Blink if he pops it. The Bloodstone's the mana regen that he's been lacking.
Right. So, I mean, really, and what this build does as well is like combined with a pipe from the Centaur, for example, and all the save that they have, the Glimmer, etc. He's not worried too much about the magic damage. So he builds around the Slark. He builds something that gives him a lot of health, a lot of mana, a lot of damage. And he's building even more of that just so that he can fulfill his role as a frontliner with Centaur. Because he can't do this if he's super squishy. He knows he has to frontline. Morph is the one that kind of goes in for these drive-bys, along with the Wyvern and the Bat Rider. His job is to be a frontliner, and so that's what he's building for. He's building armor, he's building damage, he's building health and mana, and like he just wants to continuously get off all of his spells on the enemy team. That's what he does. And that's why he has an Essence Ring 38 minutes into the game, because it just enables him to do that much more. So, one other thing that I wanted to point out. So let's go to Radiant's perspective a little bit earlier, right around this. After they get this pick off on the Tiny, I want to see this. So, push out this lane. Tiny comes out here, and then they should get a pick off on him right now. So this is a cool play, right? They get the pick off on him, but look at the vision right now. Why do they feel comfortable running high ground? Can anyone tell me? And I'll give you a hint. It has to do with one of the pings on the map.
Well, so I guess I see the Ench top.
There you go. Who's pinging it out?
Bat
Rider, right? So they see that Ench is dead over here. They understand Tiny's dead. They can take an engagement 4 versus 3, right? They don't have any fear about that. So instead of hesitating, there's no hesitation whatsoever. As soon as that kill goes and that ping goes off, that communication is there from your team, they instantly go high ground. They take a tier 3.
And then Bat
it's as easy as
stops
that.
from being able to get back.
Bat goes on Ench, stops her from TPing back.
And then they go on Ench.
And then they just rotate on Ench. Now, Wyvern dies back here, but it's still such a good rotation, right? It's just such a heads-up play. You get a pick off, pressure an objective, rotate out when you don't want to be there anymore, and get another kill. Fantastic.
I mean, that's a good trade. You trade the Wyvern for the Ench.
Absolutely. And a tier 3. And the Tiny bot back, too.
Yeah. And you put that kill gets Lush and more
so
to the
much.
top of the
Absolutely.
leaderboard.
No, it gets so much for them. So it's really, really cool. So Bat pings out the Enchantress. Tiny was dead. No initiation is on Dire anymore, right? That's probably the most important thing, with Tiny being the one that got picked off. Dire doesn't have any more initiation. It forced the movements back. They kept the Enchantress top and then rotated. Oh yeah, Puppy's always dying though. It's like life of a position 5.
How many deaths does Puppy have? Because that one was
A
avoidable.
lot.
He's playing. He's playing with no
13.
vision.
13
He
deaths.
literally just.
I see it all the time. Fly does it all the time too.
Oh yeah, always want to
Every
die.
time I'm watching ET, I'm like, what is he? What's going on?
Oh my god.
Some
Oh, I wanted
sort
to
of-
show you guys this. I thought this was amazing. Super heads up from this guy.
Turn
No,
around.
okay, so
you
you're
get
in this
what-
situation. Everyone's behind you. All the enemy team, right? Let's go to both fog. All the enemy team is behind you, but they've got some pretty insane catch. They've got the Slark Eggs, they've got Blink on Pugna, they've got Blink on Tiny. So where do you go?
You go deeper into their side.
Nope. What a fucking psycho. I'm telling you, like I love it. I think that's just one of the most creative plays that I've ever seen, honestly. And it just shows how important these kind of movements are in Dota. Like how you can get ridiculously creative and you know, it benefits you because now they don't get a kill on your offlaner. That to me is just insane.
Did
Yeah,
pick up
40-minute
a haste
TV and the
to
bounty!
just a bit of-
And the bounty!
Oh god.
That's just insane, but that's only possible because he didn't. Because the Slark would have caught him if he had gone this way. Slark pounced forward, but instead turns right around and zips out, and makes like a bandit. It's just such a cool heads-up play. Like, I mean, that to me was just so insane. Seriously though, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. And again, Miracle is just being a complete idiot. Like,
Can't
Where's
do
the
that
Omni?
without X.
Where's the Omni? Other ones are.
he's
Blink.
playing away from his team, doing the exact same thing, blinking onto the enemy high ground with absolutely no vision. I don't understand this guy at all. I think he's playing like a fucking divine or an ancient, like just terrible stuff.
Didn't they end up winning the? Isn't this from the replay?
Look at
did
this!
win some, but
Where's his team? Like, look at this. It's so dumb. I don't.
He thinks the only thing he has to worry about is that Bat Rider.
I don't understand. It's just he's hugely out of position, away from his entire team. It's just don't do this, please. Like, understand why this is so game losing, even with an Aegis. Like, there's just no reason to do this at all. You
It's
just,
playing from the upper bracket, so.
I guess, man. I fucking guess. Like,
Wait,
Jesus.
the miracle. She. It looks like a fake miracle.
No
It's
joke.
Miracle.
So now,
It's
wait a
Miracle.
minute. Hang on. So now let's swap to Radiant. So this is happening, right? Because Leshrac pushed in this lane so freaking hard. So what are they gonna do? Boom. Now in this second, this millisecond, as soon as they see this, what do you think they do?
Charge!
Exactly. As soon as they see Slark going forward, boom! Instantly. Bat's already there. Centaur stampeding in. Everything. Actually, that's another really cool combination as well. Similar to the Darkseer Bat Rider, Centaur Bat Rider, because it gives your bat a haste whenever you need it to. That's another really cool one, actually, to consider.
Where's the
Yeah.
Centaur going?
Looking for more. Centaur's always looking for more. In these situations, the Tiny's going to be dead no matter what. You don't have to help with that. So where
Right,
can
but-
you have more impact? Looking for more kills. Looking for who to go next. It's super cool to do on these initiator heroes, like Centaur, Slardar, or anything else. If you pop your ultimate on someone, stun them up for your team, they get to them, you don't keep hitting them, you keep looking for more. It's a really, really cool play to make. No, that was totally correct by him.
But wouldn't they have all gotten out? Like
Maybe,
you saw
maybe
the
not.
you saw the TPs of the Ench and the Pugna.
Yeah,
Omni
but
was off map the entire time, so you only saw the Tiny.
yeah. So, but the point isn't to get more; it's to scout for more. And if
Yeah, I
you
guess.
do see it, then you can go for it. But if not, you're still playing correctly. But it's so cool. So, I mean, Tiny dies back now, and they know that he dies back, so what do? Now they're going on the aggressive. They're reclaiming parts of the map, right? They're putting down vision. They're getting all of this control over where they didn't used to. Alright, so what else? Oh, 4250. Zai has a really, really cool play with Force Staff that I loved. I thought
You mean more than the one you just had?
Oh yeah, even more so. I thought it was so cool. Just the, it's just the like he just has such a good understanding of mechanics in the game. Like, look at this. In 99% of situations, you turn around and force staff out and go back to your team, right? Maybe stampede right back in and eventually get it. What does he do?
Forces him in.
Oh my god, it's just so heads up and so cool to see that.
I mean, I think that's it's more of a communication thing. You don't know what their comms were, but I'd expect Nisha saying, "Don't get out, stay in. I'm
Right,
coming.
right,
I'm right
right.
behind you. Like I'm there to support."
Definitely.
And that's like, I don't think it's this. I think you're placing a lot of credit on Zai without knowing the full. That
No,
could've
of
very well
course.
been
You definitely
that-
have to communicate with your team. Like, if
Yeah, like,
no one else
that
is saying anything and you don't know where your team is, definitely, it's probably the smarter option just to get out. But, I mean, in that situation where he's able to do that and set it up for his team like that, I think that's just incredible, honestly.
I think that's just good shot calling from whoever's doing.
Yeah.
Whoever's
Oh, totally.
deciding to take lead.
Totally.
That it's more for them.
Yeah, totally. But, I mean, again, that's just why it's so important to have that person, be it Zach or someone else, who's always there to say, hey, we need to be doing this, 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 and this right now. Do this, do that, go here. And then
Starts
people
going
need to
up.
listen.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
look at those
God.
tossbacks. Like,
The
I
first hit bash.
mean,
Only the
yeah.
pros.
Look at what GH is doing too, on this Tiny. Like when he sees his course getting into a little bit of trouble, like right now, what does he do? Instantly. So cool watching that happen. It's just having some amazing impact on this position 4 Tiny that has
Slark not
no
have a
damage. No, he doesn't.
I feel like that's a misplay.
Probably against the Leshrac and the Centaur and the
Against
Morphling E-Blade,
Against
everything else. Like, I don't know what Miracle is doing this game, honestly.
like he just gets disabled so much.
Absolutely, 100%. Goes down and dies here. Yeah, I don't know what his thought process was this game, if he was super tilted or something, but he's just playing badly. There's no way around it. I mean, GH is doing his best, trying to like save him when he gets in trouble, but I mean, I guess like Slark just can't rely on that completely, I guess. It was weird. Yeah, 45 minutes, like everyone just rotates for the bounties again, and then after this, I think like the game's pretty much over. And we've only got 30 minutes anyway, so I want to kind of quickly go over the other one, just real fast, because I know we won't get through the whole thing. But yeah, so I mean, from this point onwards, game ends pretty soon after that. They were all just using their buybacks, and yeah, Secret just played way better as a team, honestly. So I hope that gives you guys a few ideas at least, like of what to do in those shitty positions where you're like getting 5-manned, how to play from behind like that, and how to play around item timings, how to stall out for item timings especially, and how important those early game rotations are as well. And just the impact that it has when you have those early levels on supports rather than the alternative. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. Now let's see. Actually, you know what? Did anyone have any questions about the Battle Cup that you guys did? I thought you guys did a great job. Won both games. So congratulations, champions. But were there any questions or things that you guys weren't sure of? Maybe we can go over those real quick.
Let me pull up these.
Yeah, I would say the first game is kind of hard. The second game is trash.
Yeah, the
What?
second game, I think they just drafted like the worst team I've ever seen, relatively.
They set themselves up for like the first game. They like we didn't know what they were gonna go, and we ended up picking Lifestealer because they were like going through the banning phase. It was like, all right, Slardar's banned, Razor's banned, Slark's banned. What are they gonna
That's
go?
a Lifestealer game.
TA was banned too, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's a
Freest-
Lifestealer game.
Freest Lifestealer game I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
And we had first pick, and they kept banning this stuff, and we're like, you know what? Brandon hasn't played Lifestealer in a while.
I mean, that would be super fucking obvious to me. Like, good on you for recognizing that. That's the first step to becoming better drafters. Honestly, understanding the effect of picks and bans. Yeah, great job. Fuck, if they're gonna ban out all those things, like, by all means, shoot, first pick a lifestealer. Why not? There's no counters anymore. What are you gonna play?
Yeah. Every single counter to lifesteal was basically
That's
banned.
hilarious.
It was pretty.
They opened it up and like I was using the Dota Plus because I was like, all right, they play a lot of this, they play a lot of that, so we got rid of it, and they're like, wait a minute, Lifestealer is wide open. We knew they had a Lifestealer spammer, so we're like, okay, they might go Lifestealer.
Oh, was this the right decision to switch the lanes? I mean, it worked out. I wasn't
Which game?
sure.
This one or the other one?
The first game, Lifestealer was mid against LD.
Seriously?
I think,
Monkey King.
yeah, he definitely did a lot better than
The
I would have.
Monkey King was safe lane against the
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Centaur.
Sounds good to me. I mean, if you get rooted on Lifestealer, you can just rage out of it, or you can just hit the bear and like heal a billion HP. Like, I'm sure that's fine.
Yeah, once I was level 5, I actually couldn't die because hitting the bear one time restored all the HP that I would have lost from all the other shit.
Yeah,
so it was
no, I'm
really
sure.
free.
I'm sure that's totally fine, honestly. What happened with the MK though? Oh my god, that does not look like a fun time. Seems like you farmed well, but
Just
like
lost in lane a little and went to jungle for a while, and then got a bunch of assists.
Yeah, I see that. 21
I think
assists.
it was just too much aggression early in this thing.
Honestly, I think that the first game they definitely had like they did really stupid things. Like they would blow like 3 ultimates. Like there was one point where it was like near the end. They blew like 3 ultimate. It was me and Adam under our tier 4s. They took mid racks. It was us two, like in the base. They blew everything. They tried to blow everything on me and him. They kill him. They don't kill me. So I come, or no, wait, did they kill? I don't think they killed Adam, but they blew everything. They didn't. They backed out.
No, I surrounded like 1 health.
Yeah.
And then slammed and got all of my health back.
Oh my god.
They back, and then we just immediately, look at all those bans.
That's so obvious. Holy shit, that has to be the most obvious. Like yeah, good on you guys.
That's like we were banning lifestealer counters, and they were banning lifestealer counters.
That's hilarious.
We weren't even banning lifestealer counters. We were banning people that I was reading off because I was like, all right, they have a slaughter spammer. They have like.
It doesn't make slaughter not a counter to lifestealer though.
Yeah.
Sure.
Slaughter lanes very well against lifestealer.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is I was talking about the slaughter way before they started banning people.
Why did they pick Centaur into Lifestealer? I don't understand that. I mean, that's like one of the few lanes that. Well, I mean, I guess it can go either way. It depends on how you pressure him. But
we've watched games where the Centaur ends up doing fine because he just pulls and like stays out of it.
Yeah, but I mean, do I think these guys are gonna do that? No. Is it interesting, the Night Stalker pick? So what else could you have picked as a mid, you think, instead of the Monkey King? Something that would be flexible. Because you don't have last pick, so it needs to be a flex pick. If you get super hard countered, like you saw.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what else we talked about in the draft. Did we talk about Huskar? I don't remember.
Yeah, I kept saying that
Huskar's dope. Yeah.
Like against the Bloodseeker, it's not great, but like they don't.
Oh
have...
right, we talked about it, and then they picked Bloodseeker, and we were like, we don't want to play that with the Life.
I was like, yeah, it doesn't feel great, but like it's still doable. Huskar's kit means that like Bloodseeker can't really do that much to him once Huskar is doing well.
I think the concern was that if Huskar plays in lane, he's going to be low, and if Bloodseeker's in a different lane, like if they lane it safe lane, like, then it's like that Bloodseeker's trashing that lane.
Yeah.
I literally played that in my rank game where I was the Huskar, and the Bloodseeker literally just got fed off of that fact because it was like I was just low the entire time.
Yep. No, that's a good point. No, I like the lane rotation though. I think that was really the right decision. That was good. Okay, so what else was it that you guys were questioning about this game?
No, I was honestly just looking.
The early and the mid game is kind of bad.
Could we work on the positioning for the safe lane? Because I just felt like there were a lot of times where I was just getting attacked by Lich for free, and and it felt like I shouldn't. I mean, this was just a lot of my stuff. I'm talking about like further into the lane.
So, I mean, instantly, at this early on, if you're going to be against these two heroes, what's the one thing that they're lacking right now that you can really take advantage of?
Movement speed.
Yeah. 302, 297, I think. Well, let's get this off of you. I think you're going to die here anyways. Yeah, 308. So you're faster than all of them right now. This extra regen isn't really doing a whole lot. What do you think could have been a different build that you went for?
Violent Ball.
Could have tried Orb of Venom.
Yeah, or that's what I would be thinking, especially if you're like swapping lanes and it doesn't matter so much against the Lone Druid. Like the Orb, obviously you probably don't want to go Orb against the Lone Druid because it's really not going to make a difference. I mean, the Spirit Bear is going to fuck you up no matter what. But against these two particular heroes, I think it becomes much, much easier to kite them, to hit them from like the max distance, get Jingu up, and punish them for like sticking around basically. Because it's really difficult for them to trade with you if they have much lower move speed, and you have that kind of an advantage. And it's also easier for you to kind of get max Jingu off. So yeah, I would have definitely gone an Orb if I was planning on being against Lich Centaur. Also in this particular lane, like, you want to get early move speed, I would think, as quickly as possible. Alright, let's see this real quick. Just walking back, that's fine. You're a courier. So when was it that you felt like it started getting out of control? Just because of the Lich kind of hitting you? Yeah, okay. Man, if only you had an orb, it'd make everything so much easier. He gets away? Oh yeah. I mean, 100% Orb of Venom. Like that was the biggest thing right there. Yeah, you needed an Orb of Venom completely. That was a kill and a half if you had it. I think just not getting those early kills as Monkey King, like when you should absolutely have gotten them, is really more punishing than like being out of position in this lane per se. Because I mean, you could have been level 2 right now and harassing out this Centaur, and they couldn't.
This is one of those times that I was telling him to go up there, but it just felt like a lot of the times they were able to get the Lich to move around the Centaur, and he would just sit behind the Centaur and attack me.
Yeah, they're level 2 on the Centaur now. Like, you can't. Oh man, yeah, no. If you had an Orb of Venom, I think that was really the biggest thing. It's just the early game itemization. You needed it, and that would have changed this lane totally, completely. If you got like earlier kills, if you could put pressure on this guy. Yeah. I mean, the regen is just doing nothing early on. It didn't help you on that first death. It's like, I mean, it's helping you now, but you're not able to pressure your lane at all, where you could have just been killing them had you had an orb. So I think that's really the biggest issue. And then it's like, in these lanes where you get behind as Monkey King, it never feels good, right? Because you want to be winning your lane at all costs as this hero, because he just snowballs off of kills so well. Like any professional player that we've seen playing Monkey King, the style is just such a gung-ho, run at you, get kills, and farm kills style. You rarely see the maxing tree dance with only value points anymore. That was like, I don't even know when that used to just be like a total meme back when it was like over nerfed on Monkey King. I think it was before Mischief was a thing, and you just needed to find a way to farm. Now it's like you really want to be dominating your lane, and you need like a move speed modifier. The Wraith Band 2 is like, it doesn't help you at all, because let's see. When are their items coming out? Are they getting boots? Yeah, they're getting boots. There we go. And that's on Centaur too. So he's just going to be able to run you down and like do this kind of stuff now because you have no way of pressuring him and he can just sit at full HP this entire time. I think it's not necessarily being out of position. I think one of the biggest things you guys are struggling with is understanding how important it is to pressure people in and out of the lane. Because if this guy's sitting on like a third of his HP because you've been constantly auto-attacking him and harassing him out and getting off Jingu stacks and stuff like that, hitting him with Orb of Venom and kiting out of his range, then he can't do these movements where he just gets on top of you with all the Lich stuff. If Lich is killed a bunch of times, he doesn't have level 3, he can't do this stuff to you. It's not about you being out of position. You were out of position, obviously, but the cause of it was because you weren't able to do everything you could have early on. You weren't able to get kills and you weren't able to pressure him. And that's why you're letting these people win this lane against you. I think it has less to do with the positioning per se, and more just not being able to pressure at the right times. Or getting kills, too.
So Dav, their throw is at 31 minutes and 35 seconds.
Alright, so move forward to that.
You can start at like 30, yeah, around there. So they take a Roche fight. You can speed it up. Alright, we ping out the Roche too late. And at that point, it's just like, all right, get back. We don't want to fight this. We don't have vision up of them necessarily. Just play back. I think we also saw them smoke. yeah, we called it the smoke because we saw with the ward there. So we just play back. You're gonna want to watch mid.
It's amazing how much.
Right.
Oh.
So they drop. Right. So I'm no mana, so I go back to regen and then just watch this Monkey King go to fucking town.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
They lose everything.
Wow.
It's gone. It's all gone.
Yeah, no joke. So, in that particular situation, not saying that this wasn't great or anything like that, but one thing that you'll see in high-level play, in particular, where are you? One thing that you'll see in high-level play in particular is even though people have like 1/5 their HP and like almost no mana, just a glitch.
What's going on?
Oh man, I'm surprised you didn't phase shift that, honestly.
I wasn't looking on my character.
Oh, okay. Got it. So,
like I saw the status effect change.
Right here...
Like, I could drop coil here, but they've got BKBs, and they'll just BKB walk out. I don't have Ags.
Lone Druid doesn't, right? Spirit Bear doesn't.
Lone Druid's far back. Who am I, like, am I coiling the Lone Druid? Because he'll just sit
Centaur.
underneath.
Lich. Like, you could just place it right here, and I'm pretty sure you'd be able to get all 4 of them.
Does everyone not have a BKB except for Bloodseeker?
Only Bloodseeker had a BKB.
And like you just said, everyone has BKBs?
Only Bloodseeker had BKB.
Alright, so...
100% you should have dropped Dream Coil there. Kept him in the Monkey King ulti. Yeah, no reason to walk all the way back to base. You need to... So one thing that you'll see in high-level play is that even if they're super low like that, as long as they can kite around the outside, it's better to be here and use your spells than it is to be safe and go back to the base. Yeah, because if you drop Dream Coil there, then, I mean, none of them can possibly get out with, what, did Centaur Stampede already? I think he did.
Yeah,
but yeah, none of them can get out of the Monkey King ulti. I mean, it worked out fine in the end anyways.
They couldn't anyways because they ran into the Night Stalker Lifestealer.
Yeah. So, I mean, it didn't really matter anyways, but it's just like, for future reference...
They would have stood there anyway, and the coil would have just been down, and it wouldn't have changed.
Yeah, maybe yes, maybe no. But
they didn't move until like 5 seconds after.
My point is not that it would have changed anything. My point is, in better games, or you really want to make sure that you use those spells regardless. It's very, very important to not just assume everything's going to be okay. Because, I mean, what the Dream Coil also does is it gives Monkey King a little bit more time to not get right-clicked while he's setting up Wukong's command as well. Maybe he wouldn't have cut it as close. Or what if he had died because you didn't drop the Dream Coil? I mean, then we'd be looking at this and be thinking, oh, god damn, like, that was a huge misplay, right? So, it's just things you gotta consider.
What neutrals do we have right now?
What neutral items? Let me look.
I kept this item, which I know is pretty garbage, the whole game, because it felt
No, Quiver's fucking great.
really good on Jakiro, but it feels pretty bad on any other hero.
I've gotten Mindbreaker every single
Yeah,
month
kind of.
I've played in the last week.
I think it's fine on Jakiro, honestly.
It felt really good because I could cast my Liquid Fire into fights.
Well, yeah, and Puck wants a Quickening Charm, Lifestealer wants Titan Saber, Mindbreaker on Monkey is dope. Like, yeah, no, that's fine. Vambrace better on him. Yeah, no. I think that was fine. All the other items are pretty trash, anyways. On you, at least. Yeah,
Could've
no,
done
and
with
plus,
the broomstick.
yeah, the synergy with Liquid Fire. Does it work with Liquid Fire? Can you, like,
Yeah,
talk?
I can
Oh,
cast.
it
I can
does.
cast the Liquid Fire from really far away.
Oh
and
my
then get
god,
the
that's
magic
so
proc
good.
With the, it felt
it's
very
secure,
good. It's
Yeah.
the best the item has ever felt in
Yeah.
any game where I've had
Oh,
that
yeah,
item.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
god damn, I can actually cast Liquid Fire into fights.
Yeah.
As
No, that's
opposed
super
to it
cool.
only
No,
being
that-
like
that-
a waning.
That's fine on you, honestly. I don't see any
I think
issues
it's
with
because
that.
it counts as an attack, so it's equal to his attack range.
Alright. So was there anything else in this game, or do we want to quickly go over the other game?
I think
Yeah,
there
but-
was only game there's on the tile 2 mid tower. We died twice there. I forgot.
In this
what
game?
time. Yeah, and we keep dying there like 2 times.
Are you saying when they go to push mid?
Is it on this
Yeah,
one, or?
On
Oh,
the
when
second, yeah, probably.
It's not for a while. Me and LD kind of do the farming game for like the first like 10 minutes.
So yeah, probably around like 15 or 20. I don't know how exactly it happened. Yeah.
let me see.
What am I doing? Oh, I'm playing like a fucking lunatic. I was feeling very comfortable on.
There were some good monkey ults this game. Holy shit.
Oh no, Urgent, you.
What?
He's fine.
He could have killed the scent earlier. Wait, Urgent, where was this supposed to go wrong?
Not here. Should be later.
Later? Okay.
That time I cannot farm at all.
Oh, do you mean at their mid tier 2 tower?
Yes.
Oh, I know
there's
exactly what
two
fight
fights
you're
there.
talking about.
This one right here? Or is it further in
No.
still?
it's only
This one I get
our-
ruptured, and I'm really low. I'm out of position, so I gotta rage TP home.
No, no,
They just
this
abandoned
one.
me. Yeah,
It's
look at the map.
all mid to tower.
Oh, you're mid
Yeah,
two. Oh, okay.
I think it's coming up. Yeah, I think it was after the Roche. Yeah, they Roshed and then. Oh god.
Oh, no TP. Feels bad. You just kind of had to sit there and watch. And then they go
Yeah.
on you. Yeah, if you had a TP scroll, I think it will have cooldown? I don't know.
I think I don't. I just forgot.
But he cuts the wave so they can't. They'll lose the.
Dope. Yeah, very nice. Very good play.
I think the biggest thing is just me and Zach got caught out, so we couldn't get our stuff off.
Yeah,
like,
right here with the Winter Wyvern Curse. Yeah.
Yeah, I was considering like buying back, but I didn't think it was necessarily worth it.
No, it's not. You don't have the Night Stalker ult. You don't have nighttime. Like, there's no point, really.
Yeah, like.
And
like,
with
we're
the
not-
Lifestealer cutting the wave, it's fine. They're not getting anything out of it.
And I think there was another fight that we took here where I went in ahead, and I got a quote. We didn't coordinate. Yeah,
Okay, let me rewind that.
stuff went off like one after the other, but there was like a big gap in between.
Right, I see. So Lifestealer's coming up here. He's actually pretty squishy right now. Nice. Very nice. Oh, you only
I don't know how
got one?
I don't
only
know
got
how
the
it didn't get the
Lich.
Centaur.
Yeah, you only got the Lich. That's unfortunate.
Right, but if you look, how did it only get the Centaur? Was he just dead?
Yeah, I'll look at that. That was kind of strange.
I saw we're going to win that fight. They don't even use the O after I go in.
Oh, you were way too far away from the Centaur.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you perfectly placed it so it didn't hit the Bloodseeker or the Centaur from what it looks like. I think it's like the
Oh,
max
man.
distance away from both.
Yeah, oh, and you could have gotten 3 right there as well,
I
too.
know.
Oh my lord. That is so unfortunate. Yeah, no,
I don't think it would have.
that's on you. Oh man. Yeah, that's no, you definitely had the range for that. I can't check it right now. Yeah, no, you totally had the range for that. Oh my god. But yeah, no, you only get it out on the Lich.
I think the Bloodseeker thinks he's coiled though.
It's the mental victory.
It's a
That
mental
really
victory.
counts.
Oh, so Lifestealer just got bashed. That's
So
what
this
happened.
is fine. Urgent's going on the supports. That's exactly what he needs to do. Lifestealer got bashed up by the bear. Yeah.
Yeah, the bear just
And
kept
you're
bashing.
fighting into this. That's kind of rough, but what can you do? I mean, at least you got an ulti off.
Oh, so the
Urchin
Aegis
gets
drops.
kited around. How did he kite you? Holy shit. Wait a minute.
Urza got Wyvern ulted.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so unfortunate.
It's so annoying. That's why I said I don't know how we
think-
lost the fight.
This fight is bad after we stay right here. I guess Adam's ulted, but
Adam didn't have TP.
I think the fight's bad after I burn Rage at the start, and then we decide to go in anyway, because the Wyvern...
Well,
excuse
and
me,
you guys
the
are taking
Centaur
this...
Gets,
Sorry, go ahead.
the Centaur gets Cold Embrace, like, right at the start, and I don't have Rage down, and then it's kind of like the call is made to go in, so then I go after the Lich, because I think Lincoln was saying, like, he can, like, coil them, so I was like, alright, that'll work, and then I get, like, rooted and then bashed by the bear, and then that just kind of, like, ends the fight, because then I'm dead, and that's, like, a lot of our... damage, because once Adam gets ruptured, it's kind of just like he's kind of stuck in one spot.
Right.
Can't really continue the fight.
Yeah. Oh man. I see, I feel like they should get a Rax here. 100%. Did they?
They get the tower and melee, I think, with this one.
okay.
Yeah, they better.
Yeah, because it's just me and Jack that can actually really defend.
Yeah,
Look at that coil. There you go. There's the coil.
barely.
Oh right, this guy like suicides to get this.
Oh,
right.
for the Rax.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How funny.
Felt a little bit weird.
I got 1,000 gold from the 2 kills there on the Lich and the Lone Druid.
Yep.
Yikes.
Ags? No. Oh, you
Blink.
went blink.
We needed someone. I needed to be able to get in there and actually get the coil off. Urgent was right. Urgent made the call for me to go blink over Ags first.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like none of them besides Bloodseeker really want to build BKB anyways, so that's fine. As long as Bloodseeker's
that
not
was,
an
that was
issue.
the main reason for me getting an Ags for the Bloodseeker, so
Yeah,
you wouldn't be able
right.
to chase people down.
Right,
But
right,
also, I was really our only initiation. Like Night Stalker could initiate once he got some items, but
right. Yeah. No, I see what you mean.
for the most part, it was me being our initiation. So like if I had to wait for an orb to travel, it was like at a risk for.
Very good. Staying on top of the Wyvern, because you got kited by it last time. Trying to get vision. Good. Yeah. This is good. I like this. You guys are playing around the bottom T2, getting down vision.
I'm doing creative.
Look at
ward
these
spots that they won't
wards.
think
Look at
of.
these sentry wards. I love seeing this. Holy shit, look how many there are. That's awesome. Yeah, you guys are really getting a lot better at securing areas than before.
Excuse me, we've always been good. It's just that they'll just come in and just
A
deward it
bold
by.
claim made by
A
Lincoln.
bold claim.
Go look at the.
Certainly not
Go
like
look at
this.
the CSL
Certainly
matches
not
since
like this.
January.
Yeah, the
They-
creative wards are good though. Okay, so you gotta kill him with Lich. Yeah, I think so. I mean, besides that one little throwy minute, that
I don't think it was a throw. I think it was just.
it's definitely a
It's a
throw.
bit of a throw, dog.
Yeah, it was definitely a throw. Like, cause it was all even,
What's
and
the
you
net
were.
worth? What's the
should've-
net worth? What's the net worth of
That doesn't mean
distribution?
it's not a throw, dude. Like,
Yeah, you were up, and then you went to being down after that. Because that
Right,
fight.
but
Yeah,
just
that's
show the
definitely a
net
throw.
worth, Steph. Show the net worth.
Oh, what? You want this one? Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the other one. The one that you have there. Right. So from was this after the fight or
No, this is before.
This is before.
Yep.
I literally cannot farm after this.
Yeah. Look at who our net worth fucking carry is. It's a
Yeah.
life stealer.
And then he throws
That's
it
it.
away.
He doesn't
I don't,
throw
get
it
the, I,
away.
don't get, I don't get the point that you're making. Like,
I should have jumped there and fucking stolen it.
Maybe that would have been cool. See the
I've done it.
dream
I've
coil.
done it before. I've done
Yeah.
it before. It's
Oh,
just-
because then you could have waning rifted out too.
Yeah, you drop coil immediately to stun them, and then you waning rift out.
Mm.
My issue is I was having bad luck judging the waning
so-
rift jump.
TP. TP on the Night Stalker, and I think instead of just
Fair.
walking around
Fair.
back and forth here, you could have gotten out.
He has to rely on the bear not getting a bash for a root.
That too. But I mean, they were kind of busy with you up here, so if he like did it immediately on the low ground right here, I think he definitely gets out because they took way more than 3 seconds to get on top of him. But yeah, no, and then afterwards you guys just like dropped in a bunch of net worth. Partly just honestly, that was just bad communication, like a misplay going in on that team fight when you missed the dream coil, and then like the life stealer just kind of not being able to have impact because he just dies before he gets rage off.
Look at the money spent on words.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Meanwhile, look at Zach's contribution.
More than the Jakiro. Were you playing position 5?
I'm 4 and he's 5, but I'm spending more on wards every game because he's playing 4 in this. He's honest. Look at his.
You also did take 4 tomes. If we see this,
Holy shit. Holy shit. That's wow, that's a lot. That's a very lot.
I was always behind because I was busy doing the warding.
always behind. I'm level 24, you're level 25. That seems like you're ahead.
That's because I got the secure on some of the skills.
No, I think you guys are doing really well though. I mean, shit, you guys are still.
I have one more kill participation than you.
Oh
That's
my
all
gosh.
why.
Alright, can we get past this, please?
No.
So, no, I think this is really good. You guys, I mean, obviously you guys are playing way better. You're taking it. You beat these guys pretty really well after that one throw, but yeah, I mean.
It wasn't a throw. It was a strategic repositioning of wealth to come back.
Oh god. No, I mean, there's no reason you guys should honestly be like winning against these teams that are all ranked a ton higher than you. But I mean, you are
Ranked a
so-
ton higher. Wait a minute.
No, they're all divines, and what most?
literally they're all higher than us except for Urgent. Urgent's the only one who's
Yeah.
higher.
What is up
Exactly.
with you? Like in every single thing that someone says, you're like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
And then it's just
Because-
true.
Because I don't appreciate this talk of putting us down. Like, oh, these
Oh,
guys.
I'm
are
not
so
putting you
much higher.
down. No, quite the opposite. I'm saying you guys kicked their asses, and it's like you're still technically ranked lower than them. I think that's fantastic.
Alright. Let's
Alright.
not lie about this game. The highlight was when we took their base and there was no less than 25 mangoes around their mango.
Oh my god, that was.
That was the
Yeah.
best part of this entire game. was
I
we got
died
into their
trying to get
base
mangoes
and we
to
were
get
like,
food
oh
today.
my god, I've never seen more mangoes.
That's funny. Yeah, I've seen a lot of teams doing that, just saying "fuck it" for the
I-
vision of the mango
I
tree and
think
just
you
sticking it in
fuck for the
base.
yeah, and if it's in the base, you can collect it on your courier.
Yeah.
That's probably why you put it there, so that it's just like
Well, that and if you're
Easy.
like going back to the base for like a
Sure.
refresh on the mana, it can just go way quicker. You can just use those as kind of like an efficiency play.
So the thing is, the reason why it's like this now is because they changed. Like the shortening in the vision is fine. It's because they changed it from flying to ground.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
So it no longer gives that massive vision bonus that
Yeah,
you
now
used
it's kinda
to like.
Yeah,
shit.
you can't place it around Roche and get vision into Roche
Mm,
Pit. Like, there's
yeah.
none of that cheese anymore.
That extra 100 fucking range that they dropped it by means that my old mango tree spots aren't working anymore.
Yeah.
It's like no longer worthwhile using it as a like. I showed Dav, and Dav, if you want to show them like tricks you can use with it, if you cut a tree and put the mango tree there, the tree will grow back, and it'll hide the mango tree.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to tell it's there until you'll see the mangoes, but you won't actually see the mango tree itself. So the only
Yeah.
way to cut it down is to cut 2 trees. But you can use it as like aggressive words, but
It's just it gets taken out way too easily now.
it's honestly its best use is putting it
I
in
think
the
it's just
base card.
the mana is just too good. Like,
Yeah.
it's
That
better
too.
to just like constantly have the mana than to.
Hey
Alright.
Dav, can you go
Risk
to
putting
real quick? Just go to the update page for this patch for when they dropped the neutral items. Read what it says about the mango tree.
It's right here.
No,
Yeah, 200
no,
less.
The other one. I
Mango
think it was
snowfall a little further out.
0.23 when they actually introduced. Yeah, no, 7.23, no letter. Scroll down to what they call the mango tree.
That's in items. God, where is it? Oh my lord, there's so
Oh
many changes.
go
There
back
it
to
is,
mango.
there it is,
It was
there
under
it is.
mango. It was under mango.
No. It's up here.
No. The mango itself. They changed the.
No,
It
this one?
provides unlimited mango power. Scroll down to the actual mango item, Dev. It's higher up.
There better be a point to this.
In preparation for the upcoming mango season. He is
Okay.
not done with the mangoes. There will be more mangoes coming after in 7.25.
Hmm.
When's
Interesting
mango?
theory.
When's mango season? I'm curious now.
This is all because of a meme that Ice Frog really loves.
Mid-February to mid-March. That's when honey mangoes are in season. Francis mangoes have some availability during April. Peak is May to July and into
That-
August.
I'm telling you, this TI is going to be mango themed.
Hmm.
So for like the next 6 months, basically, is mango season.
Exactly.
All right.
What came out at the start? 7.24.
Lincoln, what do you say?
Dude, this is some conspiracy shit. I'm telling you. I
I'm
think it's
saying-
dope, but like this is some conspiracy shit, man.
I'm saying there is going to be some mango flavored items coming.
All right. Guess
The-
we'll have to
the-
wait and see.
Alright.
The new
Alright.
heroes released. One of them is going to be a fucking mango.
Dear Lord. Alright. Alright.
Let's
Let's
Can
end
we
it
take
on
a look
that
at the
note.
third game
Let's
real
end it
quick?
on that.
Or the second game?
Oh, second game?
Sure.
Okay. I think
I just want to say it's the freest anti-mage game I've seen in my entire life.
oh my god, yeah. What the fuck?
This is another
No
interesting.
stuns, no silence.
We laid the anti-mage min in this game too. We had some interesting mids.
You put the anti-mage mid?
Yeah.
Against the
Yep,
Zeus.
against Zeus.
Isn't it fine against Abba?
I
It
Oh,
was-
I
the
guess,
main
yeah,
thing was
Clinks.
we
didn't
Yeah,
wanna
Clinks
lane the
gets
Clinks
dumpster
We didn't want to
against
like
Zeus.
Clinks
Yeah.
against Zeus because that was going to
Okay.
be garbage.
Yeah. That makes sense. Although it's not as bad as before now that he has Death Pact level 2. But yeah, I see what
all I
I
had
see
to do
what
was
you mean.
ferry out like a bit of extra regen until I hit level 5 and I had 2 points in spell shields. And
Yeah.
he did
Every
nothing.
time he
Yeah.
went to go drop a thunderbolt, he just got fucking.
Oh yeah, he lightning bolted me at one point and I reflected it and got his word because of it.
Oh my god.
That's really funny.
Right. So they picked Shadow Demon Abaddon as their first 2 pickups, and we're like, That is a lot of save. And then they picked the Pugna, and we're like, all right, that's still like a lot of save. And then they picked the Spectre, and we're like, they're doing a 4 protect 1. Let's just abuse the fuck out of this.
Ah,
Like,
Yeah,
that
there you go.
Spectre,
This game already. I just walked up high ground and hit, and then backed off when I started to lose some health. Like there's no danger.
like the only stun was the Zeus lightning bolt.
And then if Abaddon got 4
I mean,
hits on
oh
me,
my god, yeah,
right,
that's true too. Holy shit.
that's it.
Like, or no, but if Abba gets 2 hits on you, you just back out.
Yeah.
Zeus also went Boots of Travel first item.
Yeah, you went 4 Knowles bots.
Nah, I don't know what's going on in this game.
Fucking
They
amazing.
play,
Yeah,
they
that's
play
just-
a little weird. They play
that's
pretty
just-
weird this game.
Right, but look at their ranks. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you guys are definitely playing better than Divines are. Like, at least together. I can't really say anything for solo, but you guys are definitely playing like low immortal Divine team for sure. And so it's like when it comes to these games, it's just like they're just gonna draft like shit and they're just gonna play like shit. Honestly, and yeah, at this point, I hope that you guys can just completely take advantage of them, and you do.
This stuff
Like,
kind of sucks though because all my regular pubs feel like shit now because no one fucking communicates. And
oh my god, Lincoln is saying the exact same
rotating,
thing. Holy shit, Lincoln is saying the exact same thing. I'm telling you, you guys just gotta play more as 5, honestly. You'll all go up in MMR, even if it's slower. But,
Fucking Zach, Brandon,
oh man,
Urgent
that's
playing
funny.
with Chev and whoever just ignoring me.
Yeah, just ignore you. Alright, if I stay any longer and keep coaching you guys, then fucking Mark is gonna scream at me. So let's cut this short. We'll call it 2 hours, and yeah, I think we've pretty much cleared up everything. So we went over a little bit of drafting. We went over some comeback mechanics, rotations. Again, just trying to put some emphasis on that. Item builds early on. Really,
Your comeback mechanic is hope the enemy fucks up. And
yeah, pretty
charges
much. Well,
back
they
up.
will. They do. But they do at all times. Like there's at all skill levels, they always fuck up some way and somehow, and you just got to be on the lookout for it and how to take advantage and then pressure objectives afterwards. You just play as a team and you will win. Like that's all there is to it. I know I'm simplifying it, but I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to: is teams playing better as a team and taking advantage of the people that don't play as a team.